We're speaking today with Emily Switzer, who will be performing Mozart's Violin Concerto No. 5 in A major on October 4th as guest soloist with the Lakewood Symphony Orchestra. Emily, Mozart's Fifth Violin Concerto is arguably his greatest. What do you think sets it apart from his other violin concertos, and does this affect your interpretation of the work?
Well, Mozart 5 is a very interesting piece, partially because of its scale. It is one of the longest violin concertos that he ever wrote, and also in its thematic imagination. It's quite symphonic in a sense. There's a long orchestra on introduction in the opening of the first movement, and then the violin enters with a slow theme as opposed to joining directly in with the theme presented by the orchestra. The second movement is this beautiful, beautiful aria, very idiomatic for Mozart, who was a wonderful vocal composer. And then the last movement is very energetic rondo that really rounds out the piece and really shows Mozart's development as a composer since he wrote all 5 of his violin concertos at age 19, so very mature for Mozart, over the space of a single year.
The last movement of this work is very curious. It is part minuet, part rondo, and part Turkish march. Can you talk us through that?
So the finale of this concerto is actually what gives its nickname, which is the Turkish concerto. It opens with a statement of the rondo theme, which is not unusual for a finale to a concerto, but this theme is a minuet. So Mozart passes through this beautiful dance-like melody, and then in each episode of the rondo he does something increasingly more exotic. So the Turkish portion really comes out of the blue. It moves into A minor from the tonic key of A major and is full of very explosive, fast notes and a lot of effect, which would have sounded very exotic to the listeners of Vienna in 1775 when this was written. Musicologists surmise that this is actually more Hungarian in influence than actually Turkish, but farther east than Vienna, so it's Turkish. And they think that Mozart probably borrowed thematic material from the ballet to one of his very early operas called The Jealousy of the Seraglio. So after this very dramatic, flashy middle section, which actually has the orchestra doing collegno, which is a very exotic wood on the strings sort of technique, he returns completely calm and collected to the main minuet rondo, and then ends the piece very quietly, and it just sort of floats up into the ether.
The last time you performed with the Lakewood Symphony was in 2013. What have you been up to since then?
Well, quite a lot, actually. College, I graduated from Yale University with a bachelor's in English in 2017, and now I'm working on my master's at the Yale School of Music. So spending my years in New Haven and my summers at various music festivals, including Music Academy of the West out in Santa Barbara, and then the Tanglewood Music Center in Massachusetts.
Performing concertos with orchestra can be a great deal of work, but very rewarding. How does it differ from performing chamber music?
It's not as different as one might think, really. I mean, the key in chamber music is listening with incredible focus to everything that's happening around you and being able to react to what you hear and to react to your own feeling in the moment. So playing concertos is not all that different, particularly for something classical like Mozart, when the size of the orchestra is smaller and it's more like a chamber music situation. The most exciting and also slightly nerve-wracking part is that the onus of interpretation falls principally on the soloist. Whereas in a quartet or a trio, you'd be able to split your interpretation among multiple people. People propose different ideas and each bring something individually to the group. And then concertos, it's you out there on stage and then the orchestra. So it's really exciting to get to explore your own personal relationship to and experience with the piece, and then try and present that to an audience.